The medium of world entertainment has rapidly changed throughout the turn of the millennium, with technology such as computers and the internet revolutionizing the way that people experience new information. With so much change, a question of what happens to the old way of doing things arises, and this is shown in no better way than with radio. For so long, mainstream radio play was a large factor in musicians' ability to garnish popularity, as it was the only technologically accessible means of listening to the masses. The beginning of radio's life was met with transformative effects on American culture, allowing for the change and development of the music industry and entertainment as a whole.
To get some perspective, we asked some high school students and teachers how often they use the analog radio, especially in comparison to online streaming and TV.
How often do you use the standard analog radio?
0. I never use it.
I mostly listen to Spotify.
Okay.
The radio's dead.
It may seem the radio is not used by people now, but that's not always the case.
Harrison, how often do you listen to just the radio and what the radio plays, whatever station?
I probably listen to the radio more because when I'm driving, I'll listen to the radio because I don't have an aux cord or anything like that. So I'll listen to the radio, and I usually only listen to Spotify, sometimes at school and stuff, sometimes at home, but usually I listen to radio when I'm driving, which is most of the only time I listen to music.
I do use the radio for sports talk and news. And so I listen to sports radio and NPR for that.
What about radio? Do you ever listen to radio talk shows or anything like sports games on the radio?
Oh yeah, I'm a huge wrestling ball fan, so no, I'm just kidding. I listen to sports talk sometimes, I'm a sports guy. And then I'll listen to my mom really likes NPR, so I'll listen to that. It's super interesting.
Half the time while I'm in the car, I like listening to the radio. Something about just listening to live broadcasts is just kind of cool, I think.
Radio will continue to have large influence over facets of popular culture such as the music industry as well as news and informational shows. The radio does not appear to die with time, but instead expands and evolves with technology. Similar to how television and movies are finding new life through streaming services such as Hulu and Netflix, music is also moving to streaming. Radio is the third most powerful medium in the United States, reaching 54% of the country population daily. Social media as a medium only accounts for 45.7%. Online radio is playing an increasing role in the radio market, with an estimated 61% of the U.S. population listening to online radio in 2017. Online music is prevalent among the community of the United States. As you can see from this chart on Statista.com, digital music is on the rise. In the last 6 years, digital music use has increased by over 45 million people. We asked students and teachers of JP2 about their music streaming use.
How often do you use Spotify, Pandora, or any music streaming services?
I use Spotify a lot. It's probably my favorite. It's not I used to have premium, but it just got too expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Spotify a lot.
Constantly. There's never a moment where I'm usually not. I have my headphones in all the time. I'm always listening to music in the car, walking. Even when I'm talking to people, they're above my ear still playing it in the background. So it's almost like background music. When I get home, music is has the biggest presence in my life, especially streaming services. Yeah, Spotify is what I use the most. or I just download music off the internet and just put it on my phone so that when I'm out of data, I have like every album that I need.
I use it every single day. I use Spotify pretty much every single day. I also do YouTube Music, the YouTube Music app. But professionally, having access to every resource that I have on Spotify, it's pretty awesome. And then personally, my kids love to, jam out with tunes that they are specifically interested in, not having to be tied to a specific CD or other thing. It's really convenient for me.
I only use Spotify pretty much. I use it a lot in the car on the way home, at home, and definitely during school. That's just like a factor that can make your day better.
So you mentioned you use the radio for news. How often do you use it for like talk shows?
The radio?
Yeah, the radio.
Not as nearly as often, no.
Okay. What about podcasts?
I have a few podcasts that I like. All of them are kind of in the same NPR vein of stuff you should know, or there's My Favorite Murder, things like that, kind of storyteller podcasts. That's what I like.
I think I've listened to a YouTuber's podcast, but I don't really listen to them.
Not too often. I mean, not that often. I have before, definitely about movies and stuff.
So you wouldn't say it's common though?
No, I don't have I'm not subscribed to a podcast that I listen to.
0 podcasts.
It is clear people do not often use the radio for news. Statistica.com shows only 9.8% of people used radio as a news source in 2017. Podcasting is on the steady rise, but still, it is not as popular as television and other media outlets for entertainment and news, just like the radio. The emergence of extremely easy ways to gain access to the internet has finally given radio something to worry about. The internet seems to take over a lot of people's news and programming entertainment. This greatly decreases the use of radio as a news source, as well as a source of entertainment through programming. Despite all this change, radio is still useful as it is a constant source of music for the masses.
It's surprising when it's realized how strongly the radio continues to exist within mainstream culture. Up to 93% of Americans listen to AM/FM radio monthly, making it an even higher reach platform than smartphones, which are only at 83%. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something about the radio and its competition in the modern world.